I'm at the seaside, so of course I want a photo of the beach, but it's very easy to end up with a picture that's just pebbles and sand at one end and a bit of sea and sky at the other. Instead, you want some sort of subject to tie it all together, but that doesn't necessarily have to be a large subject like deck chairs or even a building. It could be something very small, but something that still says, I'm at the seaside or on the coastline. So I found this feather. This is of course from a seagull, and if you don't have one, there's usually plenty lying around. You can just prop it up. These sometimes just land like this and sit in a rather satisfying way, just asking to be photographed. Now, if I do just take a picture of it though, from this position, I end up with just pebbles behind it, and it makes the feather very hard to see, and it's not a particularly exciting picture. However, if I can get a little bit lower, I'm going to end up with something a lot more exciting. So for a much more interesting angle, I've had to lie down on the beach. But now when I fill the frame with the feather, I no longer have a background that's just pure pebbles and sand. Instead, I've got a horizon line, so I can see some sky and some beach on the picture. And it's a lot more interesting. I can see more of it. And yet you have this main subject tying it together and nicely crossing over that middle horizon line. I'm also balancing it on a pebble, which is allowing me to make very precise adjustments in case I want to make sure that horizon is completely straight. Watch out for it being a bit skewed. Now, the only other thing you have to watch out for is focusing, because when you are very close to a subject, sometimes the camera will struggle to have it in sharp focus. So the trick is just to tap different parts of it and take a picture for each one. Some will be very, very low contrast and the camera will struggle to focus. Others, especially where there's a more defined edge, will be easier for it to focus on. There's no way to really tell. Just take lots of different pictures and make sure you're focusing in different areas, different parts of the subject. And because you are focusing on a subject that's very close, you'll also see that shallow depth of field effect where the background becomes more blurred. Some cameras or phones also have a specific portrait mode that accentuates that blurred background effect, whether digitally or with an extra lens. So it's worth trying that out as well, because you can get a really nice result. But again, be aware that it will have a minimum focusing distance beyond which it won't work. So try it, try to focus, and then check your results. As always, the key is to take lots of pictures, and hopefully one of them is going to turn out exactly as you want it. In this picture, I like the way that the feather is crossing from one corner to the other diagonally across the frame. However, the background is just too busy. There's too much going on with pebbles across the entire thing. I like the pebbles, but there's too many of them here. It's confusing. In this shot, I'm low to the ground, so this has allowed me to position the horizon across the middle, so I've got pebbles at the bottom and sky at the top. I like the way that the feather crosses it. It looks like it's a perfect picture, but before you move away, it is very important to take a close look at it to check for focus. And when you do that, you'll see that unfortunately, the feather is a bit blurred. I know that this camera is capable of a sharper result, so this is why you have to take lots of test pictures. In this picture, the feather is crossing the frame as I'd like it. I like the position of the horizon in the middle, so the only thing I need to check is whether I've managed to nail the focus. So let's take a closer look, and you can already see the lines across the feather. These are real giveaways that this is a nice, sharp image. And you can also see that shallow depth of field effect, which is blurring the pebbles and the sea in the background, and that further separates the subject of the feather against it. And this to me says I'm at the seaside.